What is going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to the OCG Metagame breakdown number 5 and 6. It actually took forever to get it, but still, thanks to Akira and Road of the King, we finally have it. And it's a huge one as well, 251 top performing decks, 45 tournaments, and a lot of countries as well. And it's pretty old, so hopefully we're going to be getting the next one very soon. But it does include Phantom Nightmare finally, because the other ones before, we didn't really have Phantom Nightmare. I mean, these are other tournament reports, but this is like a big compilation of everything, so it's definitely an interesting sample size that we can actually use to analyze in order to have, you know, good information about what people are playing and the format and what people are probably going to be playing later. But yeah, there is something interesting to note about the Phantom Nightmare. It is a set that drastically increases the power level and consistency of fire-based strategies because of Snake Eye Populace, as well as the Link 3 monster, Promethean Princess, the Bestower Flame, something like that. It's a ridiculous card, and it fixes a lot of issues for both Rescue Ace and Fire King, and for some other Fire King fire decks as well, including Salamangrade, Infernoid, and the list goes on. Anyways, before we go any further, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate that, and now let's get right into it. Alrighty, so first things first, the best deck, quote-unquote, is Rescue Ace, but not really by a long shot. I mean, it's at 43 out of 251 decks were topping with Rescue Ace, so 17.1%. But then, right after that, we have Fire King at 40 out of 251, so 15.9%. It's pretty much the same thing, and the difference is that, I mean, I want to say like almost 25 out of 40 cards are like identical for both decks, so the decks are super similar. Even their extra deck is really similar because they're both Link Toolbox decks. The only difference is that instead of going Turbulence set 4 with the Rescue Ace deck, Fire King is destroying something like the Barong with the Fire King Island and then searching Garunix, and then you're getting a search and you're setting up like Kirin to destroy a card on the opponent's turn, and then you're also Xyz summoning the Synchro on the opponent's turn to like blow up everything. You're just getting a lot of recursion that way because you have a lot of graveyard effects that make you go +1. And then Rescue Ace, I mean, it's really just like everybody knows about it. You're always setting a bunch of back row, you're recycling back everything. You're doing a lot actually with Rescue Ace. And they're also very consistent, and they also got a huge boost again, with Populace increasing the amount of one-card starters. Now, I will say that, I want to say the engine, the Snake Eye engine, is much better in Fire King than it is in Rescue Ace. As we can see here, 22 builds were playing with the Snake Eye monsters, and then only 21 are playing without. So it's pretty much a 50-50. But with Fire King, it's not the case. Almost everyone is playing with the Snake Eyes, and almost nobody is playing without. So that's already something that I knew off of, playtesting with the engine. And I'm actually going to be making a full video just on the Snake Eye cards because I do believe that they will be the next insane engine in Yu-Gi-Oh! They will change everything, and they honestly make Wanted and the Bellstar look like garbage compared to them. Anyways, in third, we have Labyrinth, so it's pretty much almost a 50-50 for the builds that are playing with or without the Unchained cards. Doesn't change too much. And the best combo deck in the OCG right now is Supreme King Magician. Maxi is a thing, but they do have Electrum, so Pendulums are a little better. But this deck is also very good in the TCG, but it's probably not going to see too much play. Maybe it will see play once we get Phantom Nightmare, I don't know, but it's not really that Phantom Nightmare boost, Supreme King Magician, but they will give support to Magispector. Although Magispector is barely a Pendulum deck at this point. I mean, it's not going to be Pendulum summoning like crazy and do a lot of things, because you're usually locked under Magispector only, so unless you're playing with like super heavy Samurai cards, it almost feels like a control deck at this point. Anyways, after that, we've got Branded, which is not doing jack shit in the TCG, which is really, really funny. And then Purely, which I also am shocked to see here, because it has a very bad matchup against Goblin Rider, but nobody's playing that, so it makes sense why Purely is doing so well. And then we've got Centurion, so I kept making videos about how good this deck is, and people are just kind of playing it wrong, honestly. But yeah, I mean, the most popular build is Horus, which I think is one of the better ones, but I do believe that the Trap Heavy version should be better than the Hand Trap Heavy version, and Super Heavy Samurai Centurion is also kind of decent, and obviously Naturia does not exist in the TCG because we only have one Sacred Tree, and it really does matter. But yeah, no, Centurion is very weak to certain kind of interruptions, it depends which ones, but they don't really lose to Ash and Droll, so that's the cool thing. And Nibiru, unless you're playing Fenrir in your deck, in which case, yeah, your Synchro monsters, your Synchro summon would be summon number 5, and that's really bad. Anyways, after that, we've got Silent Forcer, another very good deck. I've also made a video on that. It's the new good ritual deck out there, but it doesn't make like unbreakable boards, that's the issue. It's decent going second in a way because it does have some ways to push without having to rely on your normal summon. So that's not too bad, but it has some very obvious flaws. And it does lose to Droll and Logbird, but definitely not to Nibiru. Anyway, Snake Eye after that, the pure Snake Eye build is the most popular one, and then Super Heavy Samurai Snake Eye FTK. I did see a Super Heavy Samurai Snake Eye deck, which is pretty cool. I'm also kind of down to make combos and deck profile on that one, but I don't think the FTK version would exist in the TCG. It's probably not even worth playing anyways. But yeah, I don't really recommend playing pure Snake Eye Diabell Star in the TCG. It's not going to be very explosive. Like, sure, it's consistent, but who cares? Like, your one-card starters also all lose to Nibiru, which is very sad. Yeah, you get to make a Baron on summon number like 67,000. I don't know about that. Anyways, Emancipator. Alright, cool. Again, doesn't exist here. We don't have Block Dragon. Or Snatcher, who cares? Runic, who cares? Dragon Link, that deck sucks. I don't understand why people are still playing it. It almost has like 0 good matchups. Like, it's good against Labyrinth, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, and Branded. Yeah, sure, okay. It's very bad against Purely. It's probably decent against Centurion. You can still banish their Primera, and they don't get it back with the Legatia. And then it's horrible against Rescue Ace and Fire King. Like, absolutely dreadful. Like, catastrophic. The matchup is unwinnable. So yeah, no, Dragon Link just is very late behind, especially in a format where everybody's playing Droll and Nibiru. And you're going to see that very soon. Anyways, we've also got Salamangrade, which is actually not too bad. I think Salamangrade is better than Dragon Link in the OCG now. And they, again, got a lot of very good new support that definitely changes everything about the deck, so I like it. Unchained should be better. I don't understand why it's so this low represented. Makes no sense, like, what the hell? And then Mana Dome, okay, yeah, this should also be doing a little better, but again, Maxi is annoying, I guess. Chimera, Orcus, Kotalker, Mathmech, what the hell is this? Flunderies, good riddance. And then this is a little weird. Maybe, just maybe, they already have the Terminal World support, but Lawnmowing Infernoid without Snake Eyes would not be the optimal build, so I don't understand why this is... I don't know, unless they randomly have Terminal World, but I don't think so. Anyways, Performapal, who cares? What the hell is this? This deck sucks. Garbage. What the... Centurion, Labyrinth, Blunder Patrol, Nani. I mean, it's funny because I do remember seeing a Labyrinth Plunder Patrol deck at one point. The synergy is that your furnitures discard your monster, that when it's sent from the hand to the grave, you get to special summon a monster from the deck, and then it gets like an extra interruption. So ironically, Labyrinth Plunder Patrol is actually not too bad, and all your monsters are fiend anyway, so there's no conflicting whatsoever. This deck could work, but with Centurion, it just looks a little too much. Anyways, Dinomorphia, Dinosaur, Evil Eye, Exorcister. Yeah, okay, I mean, yeah, this is like the worst way probably to play the deck, but okay. Anyways, Hero, Horus, Eldritch, or Asterion, Kishtira, and then Nemesis, Kirklaw. Silent Enforcer, Necros, okay, ooh, finally someone who's actually trying that out. And then a bunch of Sinful deck that nobody cares about, but Mekanko should be better. It's also very funny to see that deck being so much better in the TCG than it is in the OCG. Even one of YCS over here. And then the rest is irrelevant. Alright, fantastic. I mean, you bell, bro, what the hell? Anyways, Rescue Ace, let's go. I definitely do not like this deck, but on the bright side, it is not going to be changing that much when we get the newer set, especially if you're not playing hand shops. And the reason for that is because Veiler and Infinite Impermanence do absolutely nothing against the deck, because if you are trying to Veiler the Turbulence, they can chain the SP Little Knight in order to banish their Turbulence, and then they still resolve to set 4, so it's not going to do anything. And if you Veiler preemptively on the Turbulence, then all they have to do is link off the SP Little Knight and the Turbulence to go into the Promethean Princess, revive back the Turbulence, and then use the effect to set 4. So there is absolutely no solution. If you have Veiler Imperm, it does nothing. So I really do not recommend playing these cards. That's the reason why, you know, people are going to be substituting them for other hand shops, as you will see very soon. Yeah, it's not really good. Anyways, there is also something else to mention about the deck. It is playing one copy of Snake Eye Populace. Just increases the consistency a little bit. It's another one-card starter. And with Bonfire, it's so much better because you don't have to play Snake Eye Ash. You can straight up go activate Bonfire, Surge the Populace, and then special summon it. Get your search, and then link off for Link Rebo, get it back in the Spell and Trap Zone. And then you've got like a free card to send to the grave to special summon your Hydrant. All of that without having to commit your normal summon, which is really nice. And this build is still playing triple Wanted because it is not playing triple Ash, which, I mean, triple Snake Eye Ash. Unlike, yeah, the Fire King deck, which is completely different because it is way more Snake Eye heavy. Now, what I really dislike with the OCG is that, bro, they're playing the stupid garbage rescue ace monsters, like the level 6, level 7. Like, these cards suck, man. I don't like them, no. And the rest of the deck list is relatively fine, so who cares? And yeah, Infinite Impermanence is also absolute utter garbage, so you should cut it. Anyways, now for Fire King, what is so interesting about that deck? Well, as you can clearly see, it does play a lot of cards in common, again, as I said, with the Fire King, Rescue Ace deck. But the difference is that this time, the most popular build, well, to be fair, even for Rescue Ace, the most popular build is with the Snake Eye monsters, but this engine is much bigger. It's actually going all the way to playing 3 Ash, as well as 1 Flamber Dragon, and then 1 Populace. And the beauty about this engine is that it actually plays under Drool very well. If you get Drooled on either the Populace or the Snake Eye Ash, you are still ending on 3 interruptions. I will make a full video on that very soon, do not worry about it. Drool and Logbird is not the answer to this deck, and that's the reason why people are still kind of trying to play Imperm, but it's just not good enough. So that's the reason why, I mean, it was even explained here. Drool and Logbird is just like, it's just not good enough because they can still make a board, but it's better than someone completely dodging your hand trap completely and still setting 4 back with a Turbulence. So that's actually really sad. Now, there are a lot of noteworthy things about this deck list. It is playing 3 copies of the Continuous Spell, which increases the likelihood of you just playing through an Ash on your Ponix, which is incorrect anyways, or an Ash on your Sinful Spell Snake Eye thingy. You can break on this if you draw like too many copies of like Fire King Island and the Continuous Spell, because they all do the same thing. And with only 1 Garunix, your deck is, I don't know, a little more vulnerable to like DD Crow and stuff like that, because without this card, like, you are not going to be grinding too much. But then I really agree with like only 1 Arvada, no Hanuman, that card is utter garbage. Like, I've been seeing a lot of people play like very copium deck list on Eero. It's really sad to see, honestly. Like, people playing like 3 Arvata, 3 Fire Formation Tenki, freaking Hanuman and stuff like that. I'm just like, bro, go back home. I just stop the cap. Like, that deck is not going to be any good until we get Phantom Nightmare because of the Snake Eye cards, really. It might be a little difficult for you to understand why the Snake Eye cards are that good, because I keep hyping them up, but they're not overhyped. I want to say, if anything, I've even like talked about how Wanted is going to be less good, and as a matter of fact, the card is played at 2, which is crazy. Like, Ash is better than Wanted, Bonfire is better, but Bonfire loses very hard to Drool. If you get Drooled on Bonfire, you're screwed. That's the reason why Bonfire might actually have to be played as a 2 of, just because you're not really trying to see like billions of copies of it. Whereas Wanted, on the other hand, you can use it on the draw phase, and at least mitigate the impact of Drool and Logbird. But still, people are not choosing to main deck Drool and Logbird because it's not really good against the other decks. Like, imagine drawing Drool against Labyrinth or Purely. Not fantastic, but it is good against Magician, and it can be good against Branded, it depends. More often than not, though. More often than not, no, because they can still Surge the Brand Diffusion, and that gets them somewhere. But yeah, no, definitely a very good deck, even though, again, in the TCG, it's not going to see any play until Phantom Nightmare. So keep that in mind, the new structure deck is not enough. And I really don't care about the side decks that people are playing, it's pretty much the same thing every time, like Nibiru for combo decks like Magician, as well as Drool and Logbird, and then Ghost Bell for Labyrinth, everybody's playing that, right? And then Cosmic Cyclone for Centurion, this player is also playing Ghost Ogre. I don't know what the Duster is here for, maybe for Rescue Ace, I mean, it's a 1-of and it's powerful. Super Poly for Rescue Ace as well. Because they're always ending on a bunch of fire monsters. I mean, this is also like the build that doesn't make like synchro negates, so it's different. No Jet Synchron, no Aura Dawn into O-Lion and stuff like that. So yeah, it's much different. And also the Imperium are in the side deck here, not in the main deck. Whereas here they're in the main deck, and there is evenly here Kurikara, because it is searchable off of Snake Eye Ash, which is really nice against Purely. So if they draw on the standby, they lose to like you normal summoning 1 level 1 monster. And then you still have 5 other cards in your hand. You Kurikara, you get rid of the Expert Noir, and then you can maybe OTK because you've got a 3-key monster on the board. Your opponent will summon a bunch of monsters, but you do have a lot of really nice removals, so as long as you don't forget to not banish with the Espilo Knight, you should be fine. And finally, for the last deck list here, we've got Labyrinth. So they are using a new card that I talked about relatively recently. It's Rumpelteufel. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a German word. So yeah, my bad for all my German homies out there watching this video. I probably butchered it again. But yeah, it's pretty cool. You can use it as a trap card if you're going first, and as a interruption going second when you discard it off of your furnitures. it's very similar to how Transaction Rollback is a great card to discard off of your furnitures. So the Labyrinth deck is just getting more speed. Every single set, Transaction Rollback is in Maze of Millennia in January, and then Rumpelteufel is in Phantom Nightmare in February. So literally every month the deck gets a little upgrade. And Arias is just no longer necessary because you're barely trying to set trap cards from your hand. If anything, it's just used for like its recursion ability more than it's used for like its trap setting ability. I am extremely shocked to see only one copy of Welcome Labyrinth. I don't know, I'm not really good with the deck, but I don't think one is enough, so. And the rest of the deck, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's just Labyrinth. No field spell though, that's also weird, but it is in the side deck because it's extremely good against controlled matchups. In the mirror match, the field spell is like better than all the traps. I mean, it just gives you like infinite recursion. And then one random Askarikara that I don't even think you can search, which is very interesting. Inspector Border. Oh wow, okay. Literally playing this deck as a trap heavy deck and not even as a combo deck. And then Pancratops, Phantasme, some random one-ofs that you can't do anything with. Sometimes I don't understand OCG players, I swear to god. The one-off trap cards are not random because you can set them with ladies, so you can always search them indirectly, but like these other monsters, I don't know. I mean, Pancratops, sure, because it's limited, but like everything else, like, bro. But yeah, I mean, Labyrinth is always going to exist, so keep an eye out on that, but it's not going to see, it's not going to see insane play in the TCG. Even with these new cards, it's not on the same level as the Rescue Ace and Fire King decks, even though Fire King is not going to be as good. Unchained is going to be much better. But that's another story for another day. Anyways, in conclusion, basically saying the exact same thing as I've said before, Phantom Nightmare is especially a fire set, and it's the heat, bro, I can tell you that. Rescue Ace and Fire King are the best deck, especially thanks to the Snake Eye engine. And then Silent Forcer is the ritual deck that came out, and it's also doing a lot, so you should also be aware of that deck, because if you don't know what it does, you're going to be misplaying like crazy against it. For example, they can have like a ritual monster with 4100 attack. That continuous spell makes it so that you can only attack the ritual monsters and not attack the small monsters. And while it has like, while they have the ritual and the level 1 monster, they have like an Omni Negate, and it just does a lot. And the follow-up is also very nasty, and they have a lot of ways of floating, so you can Regeki them and it doesn't make them lose any interruptions. If anything, it might even make their board better. So yeah, I would never like negate a Regeki, for example. It's a really weird deck, but yeah, it's worth playtesting with. Veiler and Imperm are being less good because of the play that I mentioned, with Espilo Knight banishing the Turbulence if they're doing it, if they're Veilering your Turbulence while you're using the effect, or if they're not, then you just go Promethean Princess, revive back, and then they're screwed. And then Nibiru and Droll and Logbird are a little more popular, but it doesn't matter because these hand traps also have a lot of flaws, and they also make decks like Labyrinth much better. But yeah, Snake Eye engine is going to be probably the most impactful engine in the format, actually. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about this metagame in the comment section below. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.